Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to My Digital World segment, brought to you by Tempest Network, a Burkhan World project. Today, we are chatting music, NFTs, and how these digital assets are revolutionizing the music industry. And of course, to help me make sense of it all is the extremely popular Karl Wolf. Now, Karl is a four-time platinum artist, singer, songwriter, and producer. He is super talented. He has collaborated with the likes of Timbaland, Snoop Dogg, Nelly, Juicy J, Cardinal Official, just to name a few. Now, he's also the winner of a ton of music awards and 3 Juno nominations. Now, he expanded his creative blueprint and dropped an NFT collection inspired by his hit song, Omicron Queen. Now, Omicron Queen is a parody to Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean. Just like the Omicron variant went viral in real life, Omicron Queen has gone viral on TikTok and is one of the hottest songs on the short video platform currently. This NFT collection that he just dropped comes just after the release of his album 2 AM Vibes, featuring the hit single Getaway. Now, as he gets settled into the broadcast room, let's chat NFTs and music. Now, NFTs are digital tokens stored on a blockchain that can record ownership of items. And they've been developed for a wide range of items, from digital art to event tickets to real-world luxury goods. The numbers are head-turning. NFT sales volume totaled 25 billion in 2021 compared to just 95 million in 2020. Already in 2022, daily sales on OpenSea, the very popular peer-to-peer marketplace for NFT, have reached all-time highs. Songs, albums, music, lyrics, and sound bites all can be NFTs. Now, music was a comfort in an otherwise extremely difficult year. And it's a cruel irony that the artists have captured so little of the value that they create. Now it's all changing, and fast. Here to really look under the hood is singer, songwriter, and influencer and producer Karl Wolf. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, Zen. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Congrats on the NFT drop and
Thank
on
you.
all of your success. Music is your life, and you have seen the shift in the industry. Now your music is being combined with digital art to create unique pieces of artwork with music incorporated, such as your Omicron Queen's NFT series. How is this popular music collective of sorts that combines your music and art, along with a focus on the pandemic, allowing you to earn money and monetize your time?
You know what, Zen? It's amazing to have been in the industry for about 10, 15 years. And I've seen a shift from when Napster was there, where people were taking advantage of something that was free, and anyone, could take advantage of artists who are creating music. And, generally as human beings, when something is free, we want it for free. And why would someone pay for something? So it's really an interesting shift ever since, even in terms of YouTube, where people have Patreon, for example, and want to support their creator, their favorite creators. I think it's become something of that sort, where your favorite creator, you'll support them by investing and helping them, and essentially being investors in the future of their career. So with NFTs, I've seen, a really cool, interesting thing happen, where people want to go in early on an artist that they believe in, and you can actually, make a profit on it in the future when they do succeed. And I think that's the coolest shift, and that's something that's a win-win situation for the artist and for the fan.
Yeah, essentially, we're talking about digital items, right? Whether that be digital collectibles, tickets to an event, in-game items, or the digital art from Beeple that is now selling upwards of $6.5 million, right? So it makes total sense. Why not apply this to music? After all, the ownership data on the blockchain is what's really important, right? Couldn't the song's metadata, which could be the audio file itself or the rights,
Correct.
also be cryptographically transformed into its constituent parts and royalties paid out to the owner of this metadata? And the answer is yes, they can. which
Yeah.
brings me into talking about smart contracts, right? Now, a smart contract is a program that runs on the blockchain. Its code and data reside at a very specific address on the blockchain, and NFTs are powered by smart contracts, which handle the transferability and verify the ownership, right? So smart contracts are one of the most attractive features of the technology. And getting paid as a creative is not always a straightforward process, right? All too often, up and coming musicians are stiffed, right?
Yeah.
Stiffed on their royalties. And smart
Absolutely.
contracts could help mitigate those problems, ensuring that creators aren't cheated, right? So talk to me about the importance of this advancement and how it's going to affect your bottom line.
You know what? Ultimately, if we're going for the archaic, regular way that royalties are collected from societies of authors and composers for like ASCAP and SOCAN for people that don't know what they are, but essentially musicians write songs, put them out there, and then there's societies and companies that go collect your royalties from radio stations the traditional way. This is shifting because what you can do, essentially 50% only is coming to us as artists. You know, there's a 50% out there that there's probably money out there for me that I don't know of that can't be collected because of the country where they are. Maybe they don't know the exact writers. It hasn't been recorded and logged. So I think shifting it to a digital smart contract, it's like there's no other way but you that owns this, and then the money will come directly to you. The only obstacle and the bottleneck that I've been seeing, you know, in the real world right now is the, you know, people getting used to, you know, people who are not familiar with cryptocurrency and NFTs, like my fans, for example, most of them who are still new at this, trying to discover this whole world. And I'm trying to educate them as much as possible by putting like details of, you know, checkpoints and bullet points of how to open your OpenSea account, how to get your MetaMask wallet, and all that sort of stuff. It's been a bit of a challenge and a bottleneck I see, but I think in the future, it's like anything. It's like with Facebook. Once you get used to something, it was all like, you know, a different language for us. But once we got used to it, everybody can be on Facebook, for example.
Yeah, without a doubt. And going back to what you just said, a very interesting point. I mean, for decades, musicians have not been equitably compensated for the music. And this has been particularly apparent in your industry, right? And as reported by Fortune, the typical total revenue split is 50-50, with only 50% of revenue going to the entertainer and the rest shared among agents and distributors. And the reality is even grimmer when it comes to who distribute their content via streaming services. Most of Spotify's top 0.8% of artists earn less than $50,000 in streaming revenue. So this is definitely revolutionizing the way that people are going to be, compensated. And a great example of this is Zora. Zora is a new platform for creators of all types attempting to change this, right? Each time artists that mint NFTs on the platform can set a creator share, which is a percentage that they will receive for all future sales. And these are the types of things that are important for artists like you. Talk to me about how it's been getting your own camp, managers, agents, the people you work with, to jump on board the digital transformation and to help you as an artist help yourself make money and try to really use NFTs, the blockchain, and all its tentacles to your advantage?
You know what, Zen? That's a great question. In fact, we are dealing with something like that at the moment. I am signing 2 new deals right now, record deals as well. So here's the thing. I was signed with Universal Music. So it was all the traditional way of signing to a record label. There was no such thing as NFTs at the time. Then I broke out of that. I own all my own catalog now. For the past 3 to 4 years, I've owned all my catalog. That means we make money personally. Like I'm lucky in that way. However, you're right about Spotify in that, you know, all these digital streaming sites, they barely pay us, like it's 0.003 on a dollar per stream. So let's say you have 10 million streams, and that's a lot for some artists. Like that's a big achievement. You'll make about $26,000 from that. I mean, that's not really a living, you know, that's okay, you know, especially if you're making your own music. You should be making pretty much the whole thing, in my opinion.
I mean, listen, NFTs have the potential to ensure that musicians are really, I mean, more fairly compensated for their work. I mean, with NFTs, musicians don't need to relinquish ownership of their content to platforms from the get-go, although they can choose to relinquish the rights of a song or album when they mint an NFT. They can also retain the ownership by baking it into the NFT. So when musicians sell content, they can be compensated directly and more fairly, really. And if an NFT owner then decides to resell the NFT, the original creator can automatically receive royalties. And this process can continue each time the NFT is sold. And this is all thanks to the fact that there's a record of ownership built into the NFT metadata, which is why NFTs have the potential to change the future of digital ownership, essentially.
Absolutely, and that's what I like, sites like Zora, for example. But I was reading that Zora, so you essentially you can get about up to 10% of royalty from each time it sells. But the problem is you got to do it on that site. So I mean, there's a lot of moving forward. There's a lot of hopefully gains that are made in terms of, especially with this research. I love the whole community aspect of NFTs as well. I think as an artist who is pretty successful in my own right in the traditional archaic way of doing things, I've seen that NFTs have worked really well for celebrities who are very, very successful. So the very, very well known are doing well with NFTs. But how do we make it profitable for new and up and coming artists? So my feeling is, and what I've seen out there is that the community is so important. Once someone knows that you've gotten your feet wet with NFTs, they all come towards you. I mean, I've noticed ever since I released Omicron Queen as an NFT, I've had tons of people come up to me, say, you want to be on panels, you want to be part of this community. And people start to take interest because it seems like there is this common denominator, which is NFTs, and that we're all in this bubble together. So that's how you create it. You just got to create that sense of community, and that's where people will
You're right.
be supportive of your.
You are 100% right. Let's go back to that Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, right? $68.7 billion. Microsoft knew they were buying an engaged community of 400 million gamers, really, and they bought the community. They bought the community. Now, we have about 2.5 minutes left, but I want to address, the big trending topic: cryptocurrency, Web3, and NFTs are all scams. Well, look, it's true that Bitcoin is disproportionately benefiting the earliest adopters, right? That's why I think some of the projects in this space are unsustainable, because you can't reward early adopters at the expense of new entrants, right? And this is very uneven distribution, and a small number of experts controlling most of the value in the system is also not good, right? But from my point of view, this system is so young and we're only seeing the beginning of it. And the Bitcoin market cap is now 40% of the total crypto market cap. And it's been going down, but it's been going down consistently. And in the last year, you've seen the rise of so many new alternative layered ones or second generation blockchains that use proof of stake. And crypto adoption is growing at an astonishing rate worldwide. So, we see that the numbers, the GWI show that 10% of the internet users in the world own crypto assets, doubling from their survey 3 years ago. So, I agree that a system that benefits early adopters at the expense of newcomers isn't going to do great in the long term. But I don't see the crypto space as a whole to be such a system, because we have new innovations happening like every single day. And these different adoption waves and different stages of technology adoption is what's really going to be game changer here. But look, kudos to you, man, for really sticking your head out on the digital process here as a musician. It's not easy, but you're doing great.
It's not easy. Thank you so much. And you know what? It is new to me. I'm learning every day. But I do, I've noticed that I am someone new in my genre, because there's a lot of people in the electronic world that are selling NFTs, and they're very comfortable with that, and their fans are comfortable with it and getting used to it. But for my genre, being in the pop world, R&B and house music right now is a whole new thing. And I'm trying to grab all my fans to go slowly towards this, because I know it's the future. It's going to happen. We're all going to get used to it. It's going to be such a cinch to work with. And we want to be one of the first out there.
There you go. You heard it right here first on 710 WR, the voice of New York. Karl, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure chatting with you, my friend.
Likewise. Thank you, Zen.
You're welcome. That was Karl Wolf from My Digital World. You guys have to check him out on the gram or check out his collection on OpenSea. He's also on New World Marketplace, but definitely on the gram at Karl Wolf's with an S, and listen to the original Omicron Queen track on his YouTube channel. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.